Jerzy Kukuczka, one of the greatest high-altitude climbers of all time, was the second mountaineer to climb all 14 8,000er in the world, a remarkable feat which took him less than 8 years to accomplish. He is the only climber in the world who has climbed 2 8,000er in a winter. Altogether, he has ascended 4 8,000er in winter, including 3 as first ascents. During his career, he established 10 new routes on the 8,000ers, a record no one could break so far. He established a new route on K2 in alpine style, known as the Polish line, which no one has repeated so far. It's one of the hardest and most dangerous routes in the Karakoram. He ascended all 14 8,000er in less than 8 years. He held the world record for shortest time span to summit the 8,000er for nearly 27 years. Using his alpine style, a style which he pioneered, Kukuczka managed to repeat this speed despite having fewer resources and less money at his disposal. Kukuczka was born on 24 March 1948 in Katowice, Poland. He was educated in his local school. He became an electrical engineer and worked in the coal mining industry. At the age of 17, in 1965, he started to climb in the Polish Tatra Mountains and became a member of the Katowice High Mountain Club. He climbed the most difficult and demanding routes in the Tatra, both in summer and winter, and did some great climbs. Then he went to the Alps, the Dolomites, the Hindu Kush, the Karakoram, and the Himalayas. His physical strength, courage, ambition, and his ability to suffer were proverbial. Kukuczka lived in another less free age, in a Poland controlled by communists. The favorite sense of freedom was to be had only in places such as the mountains. Kukuczka didn't have anything apart from his passion, his unbelievable strength of character, and his ability to survive in the harshest of circumstances. Hardly helped by the regime and equipped with whatever they could rustle up, he and his mountain climbing colleagues, women as well as men, made names for themselves as innovative and fearless Himalayan climbers. During the 1980s and 1990s, Polish mountain climbers were among the most successful in the world. They flocked en masse to the Himalayan mountains in the hope of scaling some of the tallest and most difficult peaks in the world. They managed to scale some of the world's most difficult peaks, attempted increasingly dangerous routes, and challenged the limits of possibility. It goes without saying that this was a particularly tenacious group of climbers. Not only did they scale some of the most daunting peaks in the world, they often did so in extremely difficult conditions. If a certain peak had already been summited numerous times, they looked for more challenging routes or scaled it in the dead of winter. In some cases, they even climbed alone or refused to use supplemental oxygen. For these climbers, there would be always uncharted territory. There would always be a new record to break and a more challenging route to attempt. It was precisely this relentless determination and pioneering spirit that allowed them to be among the best in the world. Not only were they successful, but they also came to dominate the Himalayan climbing scene for the greater part of these 2 decades. Many of the finest mountain climbers in history emerged from this ambitious group of Poles. Andrzej Zawada, Jerzy Kukuczka, Krzysztof Wilecki, Jerzy Kukuczka, and Wanda Rutkiewicz. It had been Kukuczka's ambition to set up new routes on all 14 8,000er, either in summer or in winter. He climbed all but one of them without oxygen. It was only on Everest that oxygen was used for part of the way up to the south summit. He achieved 10 8,000 meter peaks by new routes, climbed Makalu Sulu, and made 4 first winter ascents. No other high-altitude climber has matched that record. Kukuczka's stamina and strength at high altitudes were phenomenal. He acclimatized slowly, but once acclimatized, he was able to survive for very long periods at high altitude, if necessary without food or drink. An extremely strong climber, he reacted well to danger. He preferred to climb in alpine style, if possible by new routes or in winter, in a small team and without oxygen. The most important first ascent made by Kukuczka were Everest by the South Pillar in 1980, Makalu Sulu 1981, Karakoram 1 and 2 1982, with Jerzy Kukuczka, Broad Peak, the first traverse of the massif of 3 peaks 1983, also with Kukuczka, Dalugeri and Choyo 1985, first winter ascent in the space of 3 weeks. In many respects, Kukuczka's masterpiece was his new route on the magnificent unclimbed south face of K2 in 1986. He climbed in alpine style after enduring enormous hardship and set up poor bivouacs during the ascent alone, together with Tadeusz Piotrowski. Kukuczka himself described this as the most difficult climb he had ever carried out at altitude, and their success took the limits of Himalayan mountaineering to new heights. Tragically, this landmark achievement was overshadowed by the death of Piotrowski while descending down the Abruzzi Spur and by the devastating 1986 season on K2, which resulted in a staggering 13 deaths. Kukuczka's ascent of Kanchenjunga in winter 1986 and then the first route on K2 by the south wall were among his most remarkable climbs. In 1987, he finally completed all 14 8,000 meter peaks. He himself once said that his favorite and most satisfying climbs were Makalu and K2. Over the years, he made several outstanding climbs with his close friend and longest-serving partner, Jerzy Kukuczka. In order to raise money for his expedition and equipments, Kukuczka used to work in Katowice-based mines, renovating chimneys. Kukuczka received several gold medals in Poland for achieving outstanding results abroad in sports. In 1987, he was made Man of the Year in Poland after completing the 8,000 meter peaks. He also received a crystal trophy from the Polish foreign minister for making the name of Poland famous throughout the mountaineering world. In 1998, he was awarded an honorary Olympic silver medal by the Winter Olympic Committee in Calgary, Canada. After summiting all 14 8,000er in 1987, Kukuczka didn't rest on his laurels. He was back in the Himalayas in 1988, where, with Artur Heiser, he established a new route on the east buttress of the south face of Annapurna in alpine style. His main interest, however, lay in the unclimbed south face of Lhotse, a challenge described by many as both impossible and the last great problem of the Himalaya. In 1989, Kukuczka returned to Nepal once again, this time with Richard Folowski. After enduring months of bad weather, the highly anticipated weather window arrived and the two made rapid progress on Lhotse, the fourth highest mountain in the world. They made a bivouac at around 8,200 meters and continued early the next day on October 24, 1989 in perfect weather. The summit of Lhotse was just a few hundred meters away. Kukuczka was tied into a 6 mm second-hand rope he had picked up in a market in Kathmandu. According to Folowski, the main rope used by us was too jammed to be used, and we decided to use the second-hand rope instead. Kukuczka was leading a fetch at an altitude of more than 8,200 meters when he lost his footing. The rope snapped from a fall, plunging Kukuczka 2,000 meters down to his death. Pawlowski was in big trouble. He was alone at an altitude of 8,200 meters on the unclimbed south face of Lutzy. Banking on his previous climbing experience, somehow he managed to descend alone from above 8,200 meters. The body of 41-year-old Kukuczka, one of the greatest alpinists of all times, has never been found. Kukuczka was a wonderful husband and father of 2 sons. He was a quiet, modest, and sensitive man. His loss was a severe blow to his family, Poland, and international climbing community. His eternal bivouac is high among his beloved Himalayan peaks. Kukuczka's memories will remain forever with those who climb the mountains. And if you like this video, please leave a like and comment, and consider subscribing to the channel for more exciting videos to come.